end the two-child benefit cap. If you can cast your minds back to horror stories of the past, Ian Duncan Smith went to Glasgow, observed there was a great deal of poverty in the East End of Glasgow. He may have known that before, but maybe nobody told him. And he then decided the poverty was all caused because people had too many children. And he then said, okay, we'll take the benefits away from large families. So if you've got a two-child family, you get the benefits. If you've got 3, 4 or 5 children, you don't. So his kind of weird, absurd 19th century moralism is an attack on children in our society. Get this straight, Ian Duncan Smith, and anyone else. Every child matters. Every child should be treated equally. Every child should be able to get the same support from our system. And so I can't understand why we're maintaining that. It would cost about 1.3, 1.4 billion pounds a year to pay for that. The increase already announced in defence expenditure would pay for 10 years of ending the two-child benefit cap. So can't we just get some sense of humanity to our social policies and direct it all to closing the inequality gap, ending the poverty levels that exist in inner city communities as much as they live in village communities in the northeast and northwest of this country. But it does mean tackling a few other things. Our communities hollowed out by insecure work, by low wages, by lack of investment. Our children growing up without the opportunities they should have. A mental health crisis getting worse and affecting young people more and more. And so many young people that have managed to get through school and college and go to university, then ending up with debts of 60 or 70,000 pounds. What is wrong with our society that we so devalue education? We force people to go into debt merely to get an education. We don't want to be the American model. We want to be the model of the welfare state, which provides for everybody in their hour of need and also ensures that everyone gets opportunity for good quality education throughout all of their life. These things are absolutely essential. But none of the things we achieve were achieved without struggle. The rights to healthcare, the rights to education, the rights to social insurance, all those things came through enormous struggle. But they're all under attack. We're having to fight all those battles again. The levels of low wages, despite national minimum wage legislation, and you'll all be aware of this, anyone who works in the public sector, the way in which there are enormous cuts going on within the health service and local government. Sometimes they're not always obvious. Somebody retires, leaves the job, moves on to do something else. The vacancy is not filled. The nurse who works an hour or two extra on the shift just to get ready to hand over the patient to the next nurse. Why? Because there's not enough nurses there. The teachers that are sometimes teaching oversized classes. The numbers of teaching assistants who've lost their jobs because of school cuts and school debts. It's all of those issues that are so important. And then the way in which public sector workers are treated and the way in which the commissioners in Birmingham are deciding they want to cut the wages of the Birmingham bin workers. I agree with what Sharon said, absolutely, and what Unite is doing to fight for the Birmingham bin workers. Because I think we all know that the Birmingham bin workers' victory, and it will be a victory and it will come, will be a warning sign that the next local authority under government pressure that decides it wants to lower wages is going to have a big fight coming to it. So get behind this struggle now to ensure it doesn't happen elsewhere to others. But you know what? There are some people in our community who are ignorant, who are short-sighted, who are frankly nasty at many times. And they will go into a community, go onto a picket line, go to people who are desperate and poor and hungry, and somehow or other blame all that on a convenient minority that they can name. In the 1920s and 1930s, it was the Jewish people who were blamed. In the 1940s and 1950s, it was the black community who were blamed. Later on, it becomes Muslim people, it becomes refugees, it becomes homeless people, it becomes migrants. There's always somebody to blame. Why don't those people think for a moment that the loss of services, the inequalities and the poverty that exist in our society are not caused by desperate people fleeing from wars and oppression? They're caused by those that take the resources out of our public services, out of our public sector, the profit grab, which creates so much poverty within our society. I stand with refugees, and I'm proud to say that. I have gone to Calais, and I've met people in Calais. They've been through the most horrendous journeys. Some work for the British Army in Afghanistan. Some come from Iraq, some come from Palestine, some come from Sudan. They come from all sorts of places. Shunned, abused, attacked in their desperate search for a place of safety and security. And you know what? They're human beings, just like you, just like me. They're people trying to survive. And in a different time, in a different place, in a different situation, any one of us here on the racecourse today could also be a refugee. So let's cut the rhetoric and bring out the humanity and start supporting people. And start looking at the causes of why people have to seek refuge and seek asylum. I want to live in a society governed by compassion. I want the history of the 21st century. I would love it to be that this became the century of peace, this became the century of compassion, this became the century of sustainability and humanity. So far, the first quarter of it hasn't gone so well in any of those departments. It's up to us to do something about it. But you know what? The wars that are going on at the moment are all preventable and all endable. Ceasefires are possible in every single one of those conflicts, be it Ukraine, be it Sudan, be it Democratic Republic of Congo, Yemen, or all of the others. You've heard today from Hussam Zumlot, and there's many Palestinian flags in this field today, and it's wonderful to see them. 60,000 people have already been killed in Gaza. 60,000 lives that will never, ever come back. People that have lost the entirety of their family, their mum, their dad, their brother, their sister, their auntie, their uncle, their cousins. There are some young people in Gaza, some children, growing up who for the rest of their lives will have the survivor's guilt. How was I not killed when every other member of my family was? That is the reality of what is now happening in Gaza, and the occupation of the West Bank and the settlement policy and the military attacks. I was on a call on Friday morning with a group of people near Jericho on the West Bank. They were describing in real time the way in which the settlers were building a road between the Palestinian villages, and how the IDF came in to immediately support the illegal settlers, the illegal settlement, and the attacks and the abuse they were making against those Palestinian villages. This is a horror show and a crisis we're watching in live time. And then you ask yourself the question, how is this possible? How is this possible? I went to the International Court of Justice. The South African government very kindly invited me to go and observe the hearing. I sat there in the ICJ, a beautiful building, a Palace of Peace, fantastic, and heard the arguments being put forward. Astonishing. Then I just thought for a moment, all those years, all of us showed our solidarity with the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. All those people that laid down their lives in Soweto and the other townships to end the tyranny of apartheid are showing their gratitude by taking Israel to the International Court of Justice on a charge of genocide. Well done, South Africa. Well done, the Hague group of nations around the world that are meeting next week in Bogota to cement an international alliance of 15 nations to support the cause of Palestine and the Palestinian people. But then you ask yourself, what can we do? Sad to say, Britain is very complicit in all of this. Going back to the Mandate days, going back to the Nakba, going back to the failure to recognise the state of Palestine, and of course the supply of arms and weapons to Israel that have been used to bomb Gaza and other places. The failure of the government to support the International Court of Justice decision, the failure of the government to welcome the ICC decision, the International Criminal Court decision. And we have been raising in Parliament week in, week out, as you have through letters and emails, why are we supplying weapons to the IDF knowing what they're going to be used for? Why is the Royal Air Force Base in Cyprus at Akrotiri being used for overflying of Gaza? And then the other question, the F-35 jets, 15% of the components are made in factories in Britain. I want to thank Unite the Union for the decision they made at their policy conference. The decision they made, historically important, historically significant, just like when we supported Chile, the people of South Africa, or indeed we opposed the intervention by the right-wing forces in Russia in 1919. All of these acts of solidarity are very important. So what Unite decided to do this week is historically important, because we will stop the supply of weapons to the IDF to kill people in Gaza and kill people on the West Bank. And the need for knowledge and inquiry about this are very important. Eddie Dempsey made a very important point. He said, we need an inquiry. Yes, absolutely, Eddie, we definitely do. Our independent group of MPs, plus comrades in the Labour Party and other parties, put their signatures to a private member's bill that I presented to Parliament called the Gaza Public Inquiry Bill. This bill is designed to set up an inquiry. The inspiration for it came from our activities demanding the truth about the Iraq War, when we had the Butler inquiry, then the Foreign Affairs Committee inquiry, both of which were totally unsatisfactory. And we then eventually had the Chilcot inquiry, which showed how governments had been influenced, Parliament had been misled, information had been denied, information had been wrongly presented, and as a result, thousands and thousands of soldiers of all forces died in that war, and the destruction of lives went on, and it created the wars of the future. So I want an inquiry into the legal advice given to the British government. I want an inquiry into why we're selling arms. I want an inquiry into what relationships there are with the Israeli Defence Force and other groups. Now, the government have blocked my bill in Parliament. Not very surprising. I was kind of expecting that anyway. So, in September, we will be holding over 2 days our own public inquiry into policies on Gaza and the sale of weapons and arms. And so it is our international solidarity that is so important to the Palestinian people. They're listening to us, they hear us. In their hunger, in their starvation, and in their thirst, they're looking to us to make our governments do something different, to fund UNRWA, to get the aid in, to get the food in, and to support the people of Gaza. And not for us to decide whatever governance is going to be in the future in Palestine. Solidarity means solidarity with the people of Palestine to decide their own future. Here today in Durham 2025, we've come together. We've come together in unity, we've come together understanding and being proud of our past. And this enormous event here on the racecourse is a coming together of all those campaigns and struggles, all those campaigns for social justice, for decent housing and for decent education, and building of the strength of our communities. Political change never ever came from the top. It was never an informal meeting of MPs in the members' tea room in Parliament that decided there would be a National Health Service. It was never an informal meeting that brought about the Human Rights Act or anything else. It was always campaigns outside Parliament, grassroots campaigns, community campaigns, the strength of community campaigns. So our message today, Durham 2025, in unity we say this: come together in strength, come together in solidarity, reconfigure our society into one of hope and justice and equality for all, not one of the grotesque levels of inequality where the billionaires thrive and the rest struggle in debt, poverty and homelessness. Take heart, take advantage, take hope. Let the message go out today from Durham. Hope is on the way, change is on the way, and it's us who will bring it. Thank you very much, Durham.
Get the fuck in!
Thank you, Jeremy. And the final thank you of the day, of course, must go to the crowd. Been absolutely fantastic once again. Please let me remind you, without the financial contributions that you make to the Friends of the Durham Miners Gala, this event will not go on much longer. It's vitally imperative that if you're not a member of the Friends of the Gala, please join at the earliest opportunity. I wish you all a safe journey home. See you next year when the sunshine shines again. And I ask that you exit the field from the various points just to ensure we all get a safe journey home. The gala hasn't finished. We have got some group of Kurdish folk musicians playing. So if you want to continue to prolong your stay, enjoy the sun, have a picnic, please do so. Thanks again, solidarity, see you next year.
I heard a conversation while I was back out of there. The next hour there might be I'm sitting chewing the lead. I'm chewing the lead, and as soon as I move, it's like, oh, I'm getting on.
Hello, Lieutenant. Is anyone behind us? A bit of space. Let's deploy the horn. I know it's another spot.
We'll carry on the hot heel of the bomber, and it's Carney. We'll speak to you very soon. A little news flash for you on Wednesday at 9 o'clock outside County Hall. There'll be a demonstration against plans to scrap climate emergency declaration. That's outside County Hall on Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Thank you. Jump down let you know about that. It's a demonstration against plans to scrap climate emergency declaration. So we'll pick the man on very shortly.
Oh, it's alright. Can I drive it?
And we are first class. You're going to really enjoy it.
Shade. Fucking hell. Jesus. Whoop. It's a bit wobbly. It's a little bit wobbly, wobbly, wobbly. That was
So
good.
hot there that my right eye stinging because of the amount of sweat.
Yes. The sweaty as a glass blower's arse. Thank you. Well, there's Raya.
We have Doris's nephew. He's got a little, what's those things? He's got a kazoo. Absolutely fantastic.
Please use all the available exits.
Say,
Easier in the field. So use all the available exits.
So there's
Either side of the stage and up the hill as well.
Luke, I'm just by the regional office. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Probably easier for me to walk on, ain't it?
yeah. Just thinking, these were a goldfish.
I'll put a large wager on that thing being dead before I get home. If I'm honest.
He'd probably fucking eat it. Where's the seeing banner gone? It was here, wasn't it? It's gone. Oh, there they are. They're up there. Right. Thank you. Let's try and find the singing banner show. They're all warming up. Gotta finish it off, didn't he? Where's seeing? Find the seeing banner. We'll cross over through you. Shut up.